Welcome back to my armor workshop. So today we're going to tackle the breastplate. Here's an example that I made years ago. We're going to do a simplified version of this because we're going to be making mostly just a display model. This one here, it's got the embossed Maltese cross. We'll do that on another episode. We'll probably do a version of this. And it also has slotted gussets here. The one we're going to be doing is for display, so that it'll be a fixed gusset. It won't be functional like this one. Yeah, these slotted gussets, they were meant to move with the arm, and I'm going forward, it will move in, and then the strap pulls it back when I'm standing straight. So, but like I said, we're going to do a simplified version. It's going to be for display only. So it'll be similar to this one here. More of a simplified version. That way it doesn't have any slotted gussets here. It's just meant for display. But again, it still has that this is called a piece cod design, which it sort of droops forward. It's meant to, it was a fashion at the time. Like I told you earlier, that a lot of armor would follow clothing fashions. So it was meant to give the wearer a really nice sort of V look. It was just kind of a design that started catching on throughout Europe back in the 16th century. So yeah, that's the style we're going to try making today, and we'll start it from a flat piece of steel. Okay, we're going to use up this old piece of rusty steel here. This is 18 gauge steel. Yeah, we're gonna use the rusty side. This has been sitting outside for quite a while, probably a couple of years. So we use the rusty side for the inside of the breastplate. So I'm gonna do my markings. These are all my construction markings. We'll mark them on the inside here, and then we'll cut it out. And no matter how old the steel is, I mean, it's still useful. But I try to keep all the rested sides on the inside. Yeah, these are all important marks for when I'm putting it together. So not only for drilling out holes, but also as marks for me to use as a guideline where to do the creasing and other decorative marks on it. Okay, so it's ready to cut out. Okay. Yeah, these are B2 shears, so they're rated for up to, let's say, 14 or 12 gauge steel. Yeah, I usually cut 16 gauge with these. So. Yeah, I always keep these scraps because I'll have use for other, cutting other parts out of them for sure. Okay, there we go. Gotta just grind the edges now. So usually for most of my stretching projects like this, I basically do it in 3 passes. This is the first pass, and it was with my 3-pound hammer. So now we're gonna move on to a 5-pound. So because progressively I want to just keep pushing that metal down as much as possible. We'll be defining it with a really thick sort of chisel. So now we're going to do more stretching, especially in this area here. What you don't see me doing is it's kind of subtle, but I'm trying to pull the steel towards the center here. So as I'm hitting it, I'm sort of pulling it towards the center. It's very subtle. You see it's starting to come out now. So these wrinkles are kind of getting a little out of hand here, so I'm going to take it to the anvil and flatten it out. So at this point, now I'm going to try to do a lot of stretching, mostly on the center, especially this lower half. So I'm going to go into my deeper hole here with the more rounded end. I've got one with a subtle curve to it. And this one's really rounded. I use this for elbows and knees sometimes. So you can see it's kind of pulling it up mostly in the center ridge part now. Because what it is we don't want to stretch too much out here We're going to blend that in, but most of the stretching is right here. Okay, so I'm going to go to the anvil, clean this up a bit, and then we're going to chisel the center part. So at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to try to define the center ridge now. It'll also, we'll kind of do a more stretching by doing that. So as you noticed, I've got these marks that we're going to be following here. Yeah, so we're going to stretch the center line out. But what I use is basically a notch in the wood. I've shown you this before. I use this for a lot of different things. But yeah, so I'm just going to put it here. The main thing now, though, is to not use a sharp chisel. Basically, we're using a really fat, rounded one. Because what it is we don't want to, compromise or basically do a break in the steel. We just want to stretch it still. So this is going to be our stretching chisel. And I'm using a heavier hammer for this. A lot of the times it's good to have a helper or an apprentice to help hold the work, but when you're working alone like this, you got to learn how to do it by yourself. So yeah, this is more of a form of stretching again. So we're not really giving it too much definition at this time. So you kind of see it's getting closer to what we want. As usual, everything just takes time and patience. So at this point, I'm going to just keep working it back and forth. I'm going to do a little bit more pushing the metal towards the center here, and then push this out a little bit more. We got about maybe 2 more passes, and then we'll start cleaning it up. Okay, so at this point, we're going to do more defining with this center ridge. So you saw before I made those marks with the felt pen on the inside here. Yeah, we're going to make sure we follow it as accurately as possible this time, because now we're getting to the point where we're really starting to define it. So we're not going to use the big one anymore. Instead, we're going to go with a little bit thinner one. But again, still not sharp. We don't want it to be sharp. So the best way to do this is basically one hit at a time first. Just go end to end. Yeah, you can start seeing it's got really kind of a nice definition now. But again, we don't want to go too sharp, not at this point. But the main thing is we want it to stretch out enough, which I think we've got the right curve to it for this particular model. So yeah, so from here, I'll change the camera view over to the anvil, the planishing anvil, because we want to start cleaning this area up of all these little ripples and bumps from the inside. So we're on our planishing anvil here. It's got to be smooth, like I told you guys before. And here's where we want to spend a lot of time cleaning up all the little dents and things like that. So yeah, you can kind of see how you just got to spend a lot of time. So that's why when you see, when you take a look at the inside of any authentic piece of armor, you see thousands of hammer marks. You know, myself, I've never counted because I just hammer it all the time. But yeah, so I'm just going to spend a lot of time cleaning up this whole part. And that's before we put this little kick-out ledge here for the bottom. We're going to finish all this top part, all the planishing part first before we go to that part. Yeah, so you can kind of see the results. Yeah, and like I told you guys before, the more time you spend with it, the nicer it is. I'm kind of just rushing through these projects to make, give you a good demonstration, but yeah, just very time consuming. You gotta have a lot of patience to make armor. So you just keep at it.